Welcome to MarcusG.tv. I'm Chef Marcus Guiliano. I'm a chef on a mission. Today's mission is diet, nutrition, high carbohydrate diet, 80-10-10 diet specifically. When I say 80-10-10, I'm referring to the book 80-10-10 and the macronutrient breakdown if you're eating cooked food. So, I apologize if the microphone is off. I am just bought a new microphone for my video camera, and I'm such an amateur, a novice at this whole video editing, all that kind of stuff. Even though I've been doing it for years, I have limited skills, and I've been quite successful at creating a nice income on YouTube. So don't get discouraged if you're starting YouTube and you don't have the skills to start videotaping and putting up content, because you can do that with a simple phone now, and it's just so super easy. So I wanted to talk about today why the 80-10-10 diet is not working for me. I was a huge advocate of the 80-10-10 diet, high carbohydrate, low fat, low protein, which means 80% carbs, 10% fat, 10% protein. I was a huge advocate of that diet in 2014. I went from about 225 pounds to about 183 pounds. I kind of averaged out, I'm 6 feet tall, to put that in perspective. I kind of like equilibriumed or equalized out at 190, 192. I felt fine at that. And this year, right now, currently I'm 210 pounds. So why isn't the 80-10-10 diet working for me? That's because I'm not doing it. And I haven't done it for the majority of 2015. Now we're getting to the end of 2015. We're a couple days before New Year's, and I'm looking back at my running and everything. Everything's just been off this year, and I noticed that my diet was drastically off. In 2014, I was so strict, not strict, but diligent in making sure that I was meeting those high carbohydrate macronutrients in my diet on a daily, weekly basis. I would track it out on an app. I didn't do much of that at all in 2015, and I'm kind of really regretting it. And looking back, it was not the best year for my nutrition, as I'm now 210 pounds. Looking at this, and I'm like, man, I've got to move forward. I've got to move forward. So the biggest thing for me to move forward now was I reread the 80-10-10 book. I went back to the 80-10-10, Douglas Graham's book, 80-10-10. I went back and I reread it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this just makes so much sense again. So again, the 80-10-10 is a raw diet of high fruits, high fruit diet with green leafy vegetables, a pound a day. The book is a fantastic read. Even if you don't want to do that diet, I recommend that you read that book, because a lot of stuff in there just makes so much sense. Just about digestion, proper health, high water content foods, foods that are cooked versus raw foods. There's so many things that you can take out of that book without doing that diet exactly, or even if you want to do that diet 50%. There's so many beneficial things to take out of that book. I really, really recommend it. That's 80-10-10 Diet by Douglas Graham. So I'm rereading this book again for like the fourth time, and people are saying, oh, you're reading it again? I'm like, yeah, I'm reading it again because I'm not doing what's in it. And it's such good inspiration for me to go back and reread the stuff and recomprehend it. And it's like, oh my gosh. So of course, as soon as I started reading it again 3 days ago, I started doing the diet again, just by not by habit, but just, subconsciously. Once I'm reading it, I subconsciously just start doing it without putting much thought into it. And it's been fantastic because I've actually gotten out and ran 3 days in a row. And today was a miserable, cold, slushy downpour at one point, rain during my run. And if that was earlier in the year, I would not have gotten out for that run. I think I was scarred back in March, end of March, with a run with a buddy of mine, Ken Posner. We did a marathon on the mountain, and I was really scarred for the weather because it was one side of the mountain, it was warm and sunny and hot. We were sweating. We get up to the top of the mountain and we're cold. We're in snow up to past our knees, way past our knees. We're in snow, and then we're in water, running water that was freezing. I think I was scarred from that run. So Ken, if you're listening, that run did scar me, by the way. We did end up doing like 25, 26 miles that day, 8, 9 hours on the mountain. So I really have avoided cold temperature running since then. We really haven't had much cold temperature since then. But I went out today and I said, I'm going to do this. And I've been feeling really good the last 3 days by just getting rid of all that other food. See, my biggest problem in 2015 was I opened a new restaurant, which I'm no longer involved in, by the way. I was consulting And I took a bigger role consulting, and I realized, you know what, this is not the type of food I want to be doing. It's not the arrangement I want to be doing business-wise. I said, it's a good thing that I just pull out. I did my job. I got them up and running. I set systems and procedures up for them. I systematized things, so they're up and running. They're fine. But I said, you know what, this is not really what I'm about. I've lost track on YouTube. I've lost track on my health in a big way. So, opening this restaurant, I was eating a ton of food that I normally would not eat. This is a classic Italian restaurant. There's no veal or chicken parmesan, anything like that. It was more health conscious, but still not health conscious compared to my health standards, but much more health conscious than most Italian restaurants. But I was eating things on a daily basis, because when you make pizza dough and you're testing recipes and you're testing bread recipes, I was eating a ton of white flour, a ton of pasta. I was even including dairy in my diet because we had a fantastic cheese selection. So it was just one of those things or gourmet cheese selection. And it was one of those things I was just trying food. And like that, I gained 20 pounds. Like instantly, I was like, whoa, where did this come from? And just downhill from there. It was like, oh my gosh. So, but I'm hoping to be back on track now. And I just wanted to stress the importance to people that, man, reread a book that you've read before, that you've gotten a lot of knowledge out of. It just makes so much sense. It's the 4th time I've read that book, and every time I read it, I get one more thing out of it. But the biggest thing I'm getting out of it is inspiration to get back on track. So the 80-10-10 diet did not work for me in 2015 because I wasn't doing it. It worked fantastic for me when I was doing it. A lot of people complain, I see on these online forums and this and that, 80-10-10 diet doesn't work for me. I gotta tell you, when I do the 80-10-10 diet to a T, Douglas Graham's version, not just the macronutrient breakdown of cooked vegan, because you can do that macronutrient breakdown with starches, you know, pastas and rices, and have that. And a lot of authors or doctors have success with that in their practice. But the real 80-10, not the real, but the 80-10-10 that Douglas Graham is referring to is his book, which is our all raw fruit and green diet. When I follow that to a T, by the way, you can eat as much food as you want on that diet. You just keep eating and eating until you're satiated. So when I did that diet, losing weight was like a game. And my friends were like, wow, Marcus, I'm like, this is a game. You do the diet to a T. You do the book to a T. You get your sunlight, you get your sleep, you get, you know, whatever he's saying there besides the actual food, you do everything. Losing weight is a game. It was like, wow, it's like another pound today, another pound today, another pound today, another pound today, another pound. Every day I could consistently rely upon losing weight from the 230-pound mark where I was to go to 183. It was, you know, it was a game, total game. So hopefully I can get back to that fitness or that health regime, that high carbohydrate, high fruit lifestyle. So I will check back. I'll actually post another video on this in probably a month from now and let everybody know where I'm at, just to kind of give everybody a heads up and I actually set an alarm on my phone to do that, so it reminds me to do that. And hopefully I've stayed true to, or stayed on track to that. So I'm Chef Marcus Guiliano. Thanks for watching. If you like my videos, please hit like, subscribe to my channel, and definitely pass it on.